Oh, I know. Sorry, Shadow. Let me do the introduction. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Jankyard. I'm your host, The Treatment. You may have noticed that I did not have the great intro song running. That's because I am still trying to figure out how to set up my things again after changing machines. But nevertheless, we are here, and I believe you guys will be hearing me audio wise and seeing me, so that's always good. Tonight we are doing Ashes 500 Season 2 deck reveals. Carl sent me the list. He just sent it to everyone tonight, but I figured it would be fun to go through it. And I have with me none other than the one and only famous Shadow. And I'm just going to switch over to. Let's see. Switch over to the screen because I think that will have him included in it. Well, he's not. I mean, he won't be on screen face wise, but his audio should be working. Shadow, say something, and I'll see if it works.
Cool. It's better seeing you than me.
There you go. Okay. Well, that seemed to work. All right. Cool. We did it. So yeah, this is gonna be fun because this this round of Ashes 500 is open deck list, and but it's only open deck list after round one, which is just finished, and so there are already several of these decks who are irrelevant, who have lost. Surprise, surprise, that includes me. But we're gonna go through all of them, and I was thinking that maybe I could pull up the pairings and we go through them to look at like uh what the like deck pairings are for the first round. Um,
That sounds good to me.
so let me pull that up. Did he had a bracket thing? I think I thought he had
It
a.
there is one. I don't know if he ever pinned it,
Oh, that's yeah. Okay.
but it is in that 500 channel.
Yeah, I'm gonna pin it myself and then open it up. All right, cool. So, yeah, okay. So, Ashes 500, for those of you who do not know, is a format in which the ever wonderful tournament organizer and King of Kings, Carl Diaz, has set up a price list effectively for all of the Ashes cards. And the the goal or the idea is that you can only build a deck that has up to 500 points. And the based off of like usage as this format goes on, points will fluctuate up and down based on popularity and success, yada yada yada. But that's the gist of it. So you get to pick cards, and he's got an awesome spreadsheet that will let you know if you've like what your total is. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger for people. I think on stream. Yeah, that should be more clear. All right. So yeah. So Shadow. Uh, let me. Uh oh.
Yeah,
Let me figure out where the what the rounds were. Okay. So I'm just. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna go starting with the way the brackets were listed out. So we're gonna look at Carl's list and Underrug's list. Um, and so for you, I can just read out the cards if that makes it easier.
and just give me 1 sec. Here's on the reverse one. Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to start with Carl's list.
Yep.
All right. I can't. Do I have? Can I not modify? Okay, that's fine. Unfortunately, I can't modify the column sizes in view only mode, but nevertheless. Okay, so we've got Carl's list. Carl is going to be playing Rin, and so he's got Summon Adaptodon, Summon. Oh, I really do. You know what? I think I do need to copy this list. It'll just be easier to actually look through.
It's. I mean, you can see out the cards, but it's basically a Dreadwraith deck.
It is a dread, yeah. So I just need to make the columns better. I think it's a better viewing experience if you can actually see everything on
Nah,
screen.
what's that?
So we've got a Dreadwraith build. It's got Adaptodon, Dreadwraith, Serve the City, and Ancestor Spirit. 3 Polarity Mages, 1 Hunt Master, 3 Transmogrifies, 3 Nature's Wrath, 3 Crescendos, 3 Infuriates, 3 Undaunted, an Adrenaline Rush, 3 Rin's Fury, 2 Call Upon the Realms, and 1 Close Combat. And it comes out to exactly 500. Very cool.
I don't know if it actually comes out to exactly 500, because if you look at it, it says Rin's Fury and not Rin.
Yeah, I did notice that. Is that actually included in the total? I guess it would be. Yeah, okay. So if I did this manually, yeah, it's 458. So it is including that by accident, but that's okay. So it's under 500. There you go. Even better.
Yep.
Very cool. I don't remember when Carl was running his original Dreadwraith deck what it was in, but it's interesting to see. Like, I knew Serve the City and Dreadwraith were or was the core part of it. I think it was in James. Having Adaptodon there as well as Ancestor Spirit is very interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Ancestor Spirit maybe just because it's a cheap 1/2 unit that gives a little bit of filtering when you're on all these 3-ofs.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And yeah, it was James, because it was back when Hypnotize was not chained.
Right. Yeah, so it's very cool. It's all the alterations that refresh and make the Dreadwraiths even bigger. I am curious. I guess like the Adaptodon and the Nature's Wrath are really going to be the ones carrying the bulk of the work to get rid of things. Like, I'm just thinking if another deck has a lot of chump blockers, there's no bypass here.
Yeah, I was also thinking like Swarm, because Adaptodon and Nature's Wrath always nice to take care of Swarm.
Yeah. So very interesting deck. I want to see what it was pitted against. So I'm going to go over to Underrug's deck. So Underrug, I believe he ran the same thing last time, or at least something very similar. It's a Jericho deck, 3 Cobras, 2 Shimmerwings. Interesting. 3 Royal Charm, 2 Chimera Charmers, 3 Violinists, 2 Sentries, 2 Blink, 3 Change Psyche, 2 Farewells, 1 Mind Probe, 3 Return to Soil, 2 Rile the Meeks, and 2 Remorses.
Yeah, I don't remember the Sentry. I did in the first 500. I did verse a very, very similar list. I don't remember the Sentry in the list.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. I'm surprised, or I guess I'm interested to see 3 Ruby Cobras at 80 points, and 2 Shimmerwings at 59. And then the Royal Charms, 3 of them are at 77. So this is obviously a mill list with Shimmerwing, Ruby, or Royal Charm as, I guess, like a helper on burning out the final damage as well as removal, because you can blink the shimmer, the no, what's it called, the Eternity Flame.
Eternity Flame.
And when I faced this deck when he was just practicing, I think like it wasn't. It was a Friday league, where we just decided to play 500 lists. Um, I always forget that Cobra has the, I think it's called like Charmed ability, where it can't be targeted.
Yeah.
Yeah, super irritating. Very cool. Something I eventually want to build around. But this is just, I think, let's see. Oh no, this has got one, two. I guess it's got one, maybe two time dice. Probably two, I would assume, so that he can prepare and play a sentry round one. But
that
otherwise,
is one thing.
Yeah.
And I think for the next 500, just especially if it's going to be open list like this again, because I think this was a good compromise of what was happening last time, of have a row or a column where you can actually put your dice spread.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, that doesn't. It's not too hard to sort of work out, but it is just visually nice. I also wouldn't mind. I'm assuming that this is just easier for him, but it would be cool to actually put them all on Ashes Live if at the next one the cards for the end of our Gaia are available. So that way, I don't know. I just prefer seeing it in that format and having the hover over anytime we're sort of discussing things. But nevertheless. Yep. So this was the round one matchup, and Carl took it. So
yeah, what Carl said, it was no cards left in deck and had one life left.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I'm curious. I guess the main issue is that the Adaptodons are gonna always trade into either the Shimmerwings or the Cobras, which slows down sort of both parts of the game plan. And then the Ancestor Spirit is also 2 attack, which can make it a little tricky, because otherwise I would be very curious to know how many times the Dreadwraith combo actually hit face.
My two interesting points here would be Ancestor Spirit doesn't feel super great because it gets either traded out with Cobra or it just gets returned to Soiled.
Yeah.
And my other thing is, and I kind of wonder if he did at all, was just spent stiff dice just to farewell a Dreadwraith.
I would be curious about that. I mean, Carl does have some, like, he's got removal, but he's also got pseudo bypass with Crescendo. And I guess, when you're able to either Undaunt or Adrenaline Rush your big unit for multiple attacks, you can sort of wait out. Whoops, that's not Underrug. You can sort of wait out some of the units, but still, yeah, that would have been a fun one to watch. All right, there's a lot of decks. I don't want to go too long on each. Is there anything else you wanted to say about those?
Not really. It's Carl's both kind of just straightforward game plans of Underrug going for the mill strategy, and Carl just a more, here's a big unit, how do you deal with it?
Yeah. All right, Red King versus Shadowfire.
Hi.
So let's look at Red King's list first. So there's always something fun and spicy. He is playing a Mayoni list with Shadowhound, but only one of Shadowhound, 3 Mindfog Owls, 3 Snake Bites, 3 Secret Doors, 1 Royal Charm, a Blood Archer, 3 Snipers, 3 Call Upon the Realms, 3 Venom Strikes, 3 Final Cries, 3 Particle Shields, and 3 Sympathy Pains. What a list. Wow. Very interesting.
It was an interesting list of verse.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that there was 3, maybe 4 illusion, and then like 1 to no, maybe 2 uh 2 ceremonial, and then 5 charm or something like that.
If I can remember the split correctly, it was a 4-4-2 split.
Okay. Yeah. So snake bites, final cries, sympathy pains, and the venom strikes. So it's all sort of leaning on some mill to get the empty deck, and then the burn. Uh, yeah, it's different, but I can see, like, it's something I've wanted to try, or at least I wanted to try more snake bite and venom strikes, just to see how it goes. Although I don't tend to play Mayoni, so venom strikes out of the thing. But how did you? Well, let's look at your list first, because you can talk about how that matchup went. So you played a Rowan list. I believe Rowan in this season is actually quite popular. I think there's going to be at least 2 or 3 Rowan lists.
I know Miss is at least on Rowan. I didn't see anyone else so far.
Yeah, Mitch is always on Rowan. So you've got new stuff. You've got a Cinder Spirit, 3 Wishing Wings, a Bone Crow, 2 Chant of Erosions, very interesting, and Hostilities. Is Hostility, which one's Hostility again?
Hostility is the +1 attack. It's basically strengthens little brother.
Right, okay. 3 Rising Hordes, 3 Fire Archers, 3 Anchornauts, 2 Swifties, 2 Ritualists, 3 Cataclysms, 2 Festers, and 3 Double Downs. So, yeah, this, and it comes in under 500, just barely.
Yes.
Yeah, this one's an interesting one. Curious, like, what was the? I mean, Rising Horde obviously in Rowan is good to drop bodies. Wishing Wings, I assume in this case, are just cheap bodies that can easily be powered by Cinder Spirit and draw you into other options. But it's not like, I don't assume they're the backbone of anything.
No, not really. It's more Horde, and when I get Rubble Spirits out, I would say it's more of the backbone.
Right. So that's just like your extra pressure, right? The mill pressure.
Yeah, it's a little bit, not as much as other Rowan decks that I've seen, but it can add up.
So how did this work against the? Well, I guess he's not playing Mayoni Snake, which is probably a huge relief against this type of deck, because I could see a snake getting very big with all these.
It was.
Yeah. So what happened?
So basically, round 1, we did our normal setup books of. I got hit for 5 because Secret Door, Shadowhound, Mindfall Owl is a combo.
Mm-hmm.
He can't really stop it, but I was able to clear the board at end of round and basically have a Cinder and 2 Fallens, because you got to remember that in Knight that says target unit.
Right.
So my Horde was charmed and exhausted, and I went Time Paradise swing. I'm gonna kill my own Fallen.
Okay. Yeah.
And then And then round two, I was able just to, between Cataclysm and Fallen, just get enough pressure on him, and then top of round three, just swing out for lethal. But between Cataclysm hurting myself a little bit and Final Cry and Symphony Pain, I was on 2 life.
Yeah, yeah. I imagine it would be a close game. How impactful were the hostilities or erosions?
On the erosions, I did not see at all. I wasn't like those wouldn't not really done too much this match. Of it wouldn't have, especially knowing the list now, it wouldn't have only really slowed down the Mindfault Owl's damage by 1.
Right.
Hostility actually was pretty good. Of it allowed me to boost the charm of Rising Horde back up to 1 attack in order to attack and go, hey, either lose your Shadowhound or guard,
Right. Right.
and then Cinder's ability swing, hey, I blow up my Fallen, I get blow up my Horde, I get 2 Fallen. Hey, look, now I'm just starting to swarm a little bit.
Yeah. It's the I love this format because the lists are just so bizarre. Um,
Yes.
but I mean, I can see like parts of it. It's just, you know, you start to think about, well, I would change this, I would change this, I would change this, and the next thing you know, your list is 600, 700 points. But it's, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
very cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, you won. You passed on to the second round. So, too bad for Mayoni, and Red King.
I, I will say one other thing of of the deck I am running is thanks to Red King, because we played against each other like a week or two like before like parents were gonna get posted and stuff, and I play against a not the same list but a very similar one, and I went, cool, can I borrow that? Yeah, sure. And then I just modded a little bit, and it's been working decently well.
And that's good. Well, good luck in the whole tournament. Let's move on to Maddie B, Maddie Hype, Maddie Bowman, a man with many nicknames now. He just keeps getting more bestowed upon him. And it was Matt versus Kauko. So, Matt, oh, surprise, surprise, he's playing Odette. um, Odette, honestly, is probably going to be pretty good in this, in like the actual constructed meta with a lot of two lifers going around. But let's see what he's doing. He's playing an augury list. Because, why not? Augury, Dream Fracture, 3 Dream Fractures, 1 Resonance, 1 Diver. So that I'm assuming that that's what the Resonance is for.
Yep, because he is also the one who discovered it, and just everyone else is following me.
Yeah. Battleseer, Defender, three Battleseers, 3 Gates Defenders, a Polarity Mage at Twilight, 3 Umbrals, 2 Armor of Valor, 2 Moon's Blessing, 2 Call Upon the Realms, 3 Gates, 2 Shared Sorrows, 1 Sword of Virtue, and 1 Shatter Pulse. Holy moly!
I was interested to see 2 armor and 1 sword, and not the other way around.
Well, Sword of Virtue is 34 points, and armor is 19. Well, sorry, two armor together. Is that it? Yeah. So that's probably why. He's at 497 in terms of points.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was able to fit in 3 Battleseers, 3 Umbrals, and 3 Gates Defender. Gates Defender, in at least in the first season when I made it to the finals, was such a good unit. Consequently, I'll mention it. when we get to my thing, but it ended up being a big deal for Brankus as well. I think it's underplayed, undervalued. It's very good. But the ability for Augury to pull out a Battle Seer round one or the Umbral, and then you just keep pulling in other things, is a very cool idea. And then I guess if you're playing only one book Diver, because you have a smaller battlefield, you're really just starting off paying 2 for a unit and a ping, which isn't like that bad, right?
No, you're basically talking a Daffodon cost at that point.
Yeah, but for a much smaller body, and ideally, I guess with the upside that you get a draw out of it, but that generally, at least in my experience, tends to be hard. Something that's hard to do. Um, but yeah,
It's harder than you think.
yeah, yeah. But it's an interesting list. So let's look at Calco. Excuse me. Calco also tends to brew some interesting stuff.
Yeah, and it was cool to see him back after a long while.
Yeah, well, he was playing in Phoenix League and one of the other. I can't remember what else he was in, but this is his first foray into 500, I believe. So he's playing a Fiona list. Very cool. I think that Fiona is probably well positioned in this type of format. 3 Abundance, 1 Ash Spirit, 3 Metamorphers, 3 Orchid Doves, 1 Ruby Cobra. So very hard on the mill plan. Also where the bulk of the points ends up. Wow, 3 Metamorphers is 90 points. Oof.
It's that sounds about right. Especially if they get transformed, they're so versatile. You either get a 1/2 unit guard for 1 dice,
Mm-hmm.
or you get a 2/1 stock that you're able to attack with
Well,
for 1 dice.
like 3 Orchid Doves is 57, 3 Abundance is 53, 1 Ruby Cobra is 50. So you're talking like almost the combined value of some of these 3 sets for. I mean, it's good, but yeah, wow. 3 Flock Shepherds, only 27. I mean, on their own, they're not very good, but they definitely in this type of list shine.
Yeah, especially to help protect your dozen metamorphers. Yeah.
Yep. Rose Gardener, a Sentry, 2 Farewells, 3 Generosity, a Mind Probe, 3 Riles, of course, 1 Outmatched, which is actually pretty good in this format, but also with this type of deck. 3 Redirects and 1 Remorse. So this is just a super like irritating type of mill list. There's a lot of similarities in sort of the action spells between this and Underrug's list.
Yep.
But I think it's got a little bit more potential for playing the board because it's got what is that, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 potential units summoned each round just off of books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a very very cool list. But surprisingly, it lost to Matt's list, which I'm assuming is mainly off the back of the first of all, Odette's ability to clear Ruby Cobras, and then the Diver can clear the Metamorphers before they transform. But I do wonder how Matt got damage over top. It had to have been a very close match. I don't remember what he said in chat. He said it was a fun match. I don't remember how close it was.
Yeah. You do have to remember one thing also of if he gets a bunch of acrobats on the field, that can just push damage through because you're flipping the 0 attackers when you swing and just killing and getting 3 points of damage through.
Yeah, Yeah. Although, if the Flock Shepherd is down, then they would flip to 2/1s, no? Or does the Flock Shepherd, would that ability only add to the attack?
It only adds to the attack.
Okay. So yeah, still flip and die. It would be a 3/0.
But if Flock is out, you can't target them.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd flip the Shepherd and swing into stuff. Um, but still, very, very cool list. Sad to see it not succeed. But this is like, I just think this is a really well built, sort of clean, focused idea. Um, and I think it would be good even in like regular constructed, like with just a few maybe small tweaks.
Yeah, because I would maybe take out like the remorse and a few things.
Yeah, like Mind Probe probably doesn't need to be there. I don't know if I would do 3 redirects. Um, you might end up wanting the third farewell and maybe another body or two, but very, very cool list. All right, moving on.
Yeah, I
Oh, sorry.
sounds good.
No, go, say your last thing.
I was going to say, yeah, 3 redirects can claw, so I definitely would do 2.
Yeah. All right, we've got Fred versus Mitchums. All right.
That was such a nail biter of a game. Ugh.
Yeah, I really wish I got to watch these. All right,
I saw the back half of that game.
Oh, okay. We've got Fred on Jessa. That's not something I think I've ever seen him play. But it looks, well, it's a devoted list. Let's see what it's got. It's got 1 Shadowhound, 2 Biters, 3 Lightbringers, 3 Shifting Mist, 2 Root Armors, 1 Devotion, 2 Holy Relics, 1 Crystal Shield, 1 Celestial Knight, 3 Meteors, 3 Generosity, 2 Nature's Wrath, 3 Heals, and 3 Fears. Very interesting. So
if you remember Carl's stupid Devotion Holy Knight list, this is basically it, but with Hound.
Yeah, cause that's exactly what I was gonna say. So that's very interesting. Especially like being able. I didn't realize Meteor was so cheap, but he's got 3 of them in there for 50 points. He's got the 3 Fears, and then 3 heals to keep himself up there. 2 Root Armors is only 55. Man, I got to do more research next time I build. Some of these cards are very, very cheaply priced. Yeah, so really interesting list. All right, let's see what Mitchum's played. Where is he? Okay, so surprise, surprise, he played a Rowan, as we know. But this is a different Rowan. It's not Turbo Discovery put out.
Nope. He went
Chimera.
He went with 1. His mill version.
And honestly, this is something that I was very interested, or still am. I haven't built one, haven't played Rowan, but I think this is more my style than Turbo Discovery. So this, yeah, very curious to see what this is. So this is 3 Orchid Doves, 2 Ash Spirits. Ooh, gotta love the Rams. 3 Divers, 3 Abundance, 2 Memorialize. That's not something you see that often. 3 Cataclysm, 2 Farewells, 1 Return to Soil, 1 Generosity, 3 Channel Magics, 1 2 Shadows, 3 Violinists, 1 Alchemist, 1 Sentry, 1 Vermilion Sage. So far, we have not seen a lot of the new cards. We've seen, well, I mean, like, aside from Cataclysm, we've only seen 1 Vermilion Sage and 1 Cinder Spirit so far. Very interesting.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have had Vermilion Sage in there, but I did not have the points.
Yeah. Okay. So this is just like very hard mill, but what's nice is that the he went for the 3 divers, which gives him cheap bodies and ping. And if the cheap bodies and ping can't deal with something, then the ash spirits are certainly there to blow up anything big, or at least to deter big attacks. And then the orchid doves contribute to the mill plan. So it's very cool, very straightforward. There's there's all the bodies are just on in books more or less, plus the enchanted violinists. I think the sentry is probably his flex 5 for swarmy matchups. But yeah, this so so this is like the paradigm of hard mill versus hard burn. I'm curious how that worked. You watched the back half of the match. What was that like?
It was basically, um, so basically it was Miss trying to survive between channels, his one of generosity, and memorialized to make sure that he he still has cards in his deck and be able to draw, say, like his channels or his generosity back into his hand,
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to get Fred deck run out.
Okay, so it did come. It did go to a full deck out situation.
Yeah, yeah. Both of them were out. Cards in deck. Fred had 6 cards left in hand and had like I think he had like 2 or 3 life left, and he conceded because it was and he kind of said in chat of he forgot about Ash Spirit's focus effect.
Yeah. Yeah, that can bite you. That can
So
definitely.
he's like, I got nothing because the last round misused did like 10, I think it's like 9 or 10 points of damage just because of abundance and dove burn.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting too because Fred has a ton of burn available, and he's got 3 Lightbringer books. So you'd think, oh, there's got to be some, and then he's got 5 board wipes. Um, you'd think that he would be able to chew up a little bit more, but I guess there's not a lot to counter swing because he's only got a Celestial Knight, and the Lightbringers aren't really gonna do much. And the Shadow Hound, I don't like if you've got it devoted, it's not really going anywhere. So
No,
very
he did also say that he forgot to switch a card for a Paralysis Mace that Nosa suggested to him for
yeah.
situations like near the end of the game, because at the end of the game, Fred had like 5 cards left in deck,
Yeah.
and Miss went Dove, 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 Cataclysm.
Oh, yeah, and he would have left himself open. Dispel could also be a thing. You can dispel or polarity mage, whatever you need.
Yeah.
All right. So good job, Mitchums. Beat Fred. Let's go over to the other Fred, Alfredo. We've got Alfredo versus Charlotte, Creve Dog. So let's take a look at Alfred's list. Alfred is running Brennan. Never see Brennan anymore. Ooh. And he's running it with 2 big bad boys, Emperor Lion and River Colossus, plus Reinforce, and Shifting Mist, and Change of Heart. So I'm guessing that Emperor Lion versus River Colossus is your flex choice on whether you feel like you need to play a little bit more defensively or whether you want to swing cross swarmy style or dirtily decks.
I would imagine so. That most of the times, Colossus you start with, and then you switch to Lion later in the game to try to finish it up with the overkill burn.
Yep, that's also an option. Yep, totally. Um, I guess the shifting miss is really just to support the Colossus. But then, so we've got 2 time stoppers. Nice to see the new unit. 3 polarity mage, 3 anchornaut, 1 adept duelist, 2 battle seers, 2 celestials, 2 shepherds. So quite the complement of allies. 1 stasis, 1 tranquility, Carl, 2 fadeaways, 1 after image, and 1 2 shadows. I did not realize that after image is even more than 2 shadows. Holy moly.
After image is what, 25, right?
25, yeah. So there's 2 battle seers in this list which cost 25 and 1 after image which costs 25.
I mean, after
Crazy.
image is a card that feels like that's the correct price for.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Very very cool list. It's all based on the bouncy castle. But he does have some big bodies and some tempo to actually punch through. So very cool list from Alfred. Let's check out Charlotte. Charlotte has a Lulu list. Hey, your favorite.
It is.
So we've got 1 snapper, 3 wings, 1 magic siphon, 3, oh, here we go, 3 spear masters, the new unit, 2 hunt masters, 2 standard bearers, 2 temple elders, a fatal strike, 3 flash strikes, which makes a lot of sense, 1 moon's blessing, also makes a lot of sense, 2 ocean's gift, makes a lot of sense, 2 dispels, there you go, free card, planning for the meta. 1 invigorate, that's not something you see every day. Phoenix Barrage, 3 reverberates. Oh, she actually fit all that in. Holy moly. Stamina burst and a wave crash. I am impressed that this is 500. That blows my mind. I guess having 2 dispels and 2 temple elders really and 1 invigorate really save you on the cost here, but that seems like a very solid list for 500 points.
What's the cost on dispelling
Exactly 500. Yeah.
No. The 2 cards that 2 out of the 3 cards that you said were cheap that are not the Temple Elders.
Oh, dispel is 0, so for 2 of them, and invigorate is 1 point.
So that and Temple Elders is 0. Okay.
Yeah, so that's 5 cards for 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, actually, interesting. Not even so. Only 1 stamina burst, 1 phoenix barrage, so not even using, not even having the 3 uniques. Very cool though. I think the siphons are obviously to get you the time sides that you really want for Snapper and Wishing Wing. I don't know. It just seems like a pretty decent list. I can see, I guess, potential problems where if your stuff gets pinged away, like I haven't played with Spearmaster yet, but once you lose the tokens on your stuff, you can only really power them up by 1 with Lulu, right? Well, I guess Ocean's Gift.
Yeah. The other thing you have to remember is Spearmaster does recover every round, but the one thing that I can kind of see maybe a little bit issue with Charlotte's deck is there's a decent amount of expensive stuff in the list.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's what, 5 knights, the standard bears, the temple elders. Those are 2 costs each, and then everything else for the most part is 1 cost. So it's not that expensive. I think the thing is, at least in this matchup, based off of the result, which in this case Alfred won, is that it was just a bad matchup. You have these Wishing Wings and Snappers. And even like the Panther Spirit, you're just gonna get chewed up by the bouncy castle and knights, and
especially the wings. Because
yeah,
Snapper, you can kind of prevent it where Alfred would have to use both of them. It has a token on it.
yeah, yeah, and then the Tranquility might have come in play. I don't know. To stop like the Huntmaster or to stop Lulu. Also, a lot of these like Wave Crash is a side action, Reverberate's a side action,
Then
Dispel,
versus the side.
Invigorate, Ocean's Gift, like all of these attach or alterations and actions are for the most part side actions, and the abilities are side actions. So
Yeah.
that kind of hurts, I think, a lot. I still think it probably. I would assume it was still a pretty close game, but this is gonna die to just the amount of ping that Bouncy Castle can put out. So congratulations to Alfred for moving on. I guess let's see. Okay, so Alfred's gonna end up facing Mitch. That's gonna be an interesting matchup because on one hand, the like Mitch is playing for Mill, which is good, but being able to bounce back, he's also got Shepherds, um, bouncing back things and being able to just keep all of those cheap units at bay. I'm curious if Alfred can get damage over the top. That'll be an interesting game to watch.
Yeah, especially between doves and aspirants. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. On to I don't know how long I've been streaming for 48 minutes. Okay. We've got two matchups left. Oh yeah, we're maybe just keep this close to an hour. That'll be nice. All right, we've got Treatment versus Brankus. So, I was disappointed and frustrated because I felt pretty good about this list, um, and I think I played a little bit poorly and got caught at the right time by some of Brankus's reactions. So my list is a Symboli list, Shade Prowler, and Lightbringer. I really like Shade Prowler. Full stop. I like Shade Prowler in this format, and I like Shade Prowler in Symboli because it helps with the clear. So there's that, and then Lightbringer is just good because this whole deck is a little bit more tempo swingy. Reinforce to pull out the allies and alterations. We've got an Adept Duelist, 2 Anchornauts, 3 Battle Seers, 1 Dark Reflection, 2 Hand of Spear, 2 Light Swordsman, 2 Shepherds, 1 Crystal Armor, 2 Stasis, 2 Backflip, 2 Change Creations, 2 Purify, 2 Shadows, and 1 from Darkness. So yeah, this is very similar to like the list I said I played against Underrug. So I knew it could do stuff. I knew it could get rid of dirtily decks. It could bypass. It could have the removal, and it was a pretty good match. But let's go over to Brankus's. Brankus's list had some major.
I know Destiny.
Yeah, major gotchas as the Final Destination deck, effectively. Well, it's his burn version of it. It's
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That he played in the collection last year. So it's Ramia, and there's 3 Abundance, 3 Dream Fracture, 3 Keepsake, 3 Shadowhounds, 3 Whisperers, an Ancestral, 2 Dreamlock, 2 Gates Defender, 2 Hollow, 2 Rosefire Dancer, 2 Shadows, 1 Figures, 2 Inkspill, 1 Shadow Strike, 1 from Darkness. So it's a lot of battle tricks and a lot of draw, aiming to get all of the things focused. It was actually wild. The Abundance, it went down to the last 3 cards. So basically the game ended where he had 3 cards in hand. meditated away the abundance instead of using it to win the game, or like to win off of the burn damage, because I still had cards in my pile. And he used it to draw into the focused Shadow Hounds, which was eventually my undoing. The Whispers came down a couple times. The Shadow Hounds only came down in the final round, like round 6 or something like that. The big thing was the Gates Defenders were huge for him. It was able to put a lot of damage early. The Rosefire Dancers locked down the Battle Seers multiple times, and it's just really expensive to spend 5 dice to refresh a knight for swinging. And then Figures in the Fog and Ink Spill basically stopped my ability to swing for lethal a couple times. And one time I am so silly. I should have pinged away the Rosefire Dancer with an Anchor Knot. I instead wanted to get rid of his alive 2 damage Gates Defender, and so I did that. I swung, and he used From Darkness on the Rosefire Dancer to kill whatever it was. I think my Dark Reflection, and so that really sucked. So it's a very cool list. It's got so many tricks, which I like. It is mono illusion, and it's got different ways of ending the game. I think most of his damage actually came from swinging, which was pretty cool. And the Dreamwalk stopped me from doing a few things like Light Swordsman and whatever. But yeah, very cool list. And he's moving on to face against... Well, I'm not going to say who. We're going to go to the last 2 pairings. But what are your thoughts? Because you helped me build this list.
First of all, how dare you lose in the first round?
I know, going from the finals to going out round 1, I think that's just karma.
Yeah. But other than that, no, not really. I think my only little surprise with the list, especially with breaking this list, is there's no protection at all for the Hounds.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a Nature's Wrath, well, but again, I didn't lose because of the Hounds. Well, sorry, I literally lost because of the Hounds coming down, because I couldn't target them with Purify, but like they didn't come out all game until the very end for the last 3 points of damage. Which, when it comes down and it can ping away all your units and then still swing and you can't do anything about it, yeah, it's big. But I don't know how much AoE tends to be played in this format other than Fred's list, which had 5. So it could just be that, like, when you're running 3... Is it your list?
What?
Oh, Cataclysms. Right. Yeah, when you're running 3 of these and you could easily play 2 to 3 of them, because you're mono illusion, and that gives you up to 6 ping and 3 untouchable bodies. It's pretty good.
Yep. No, didn't disagree. My only thing is, if you ping away the Rosefire, would that have swung the game?
So I don't know. It was definitely, that was one turning point. The other turning point was when he was able to swing Dreamlock, and like I swung, he dropped a Gates Defender to, I think, eat my Shade Prowler attack, and then he counter swinged with Ink Spill, which locked down my board. And that hit me for like another 4. And so I don't know that I had a way out. I think there were just too many gotchas. He played it really well, and my board doesn't have bypass. Like, the difference between this version and the version I had before this was that I had other ways of like refreshing and getting bigger. He just had he had basically all the answers at the exact right time. But it was still a close game. I think I had him down to 4 or 5 life, and he would, if I could have just stopped the Shadow Hounds, if I didn't get ink spilled, I could have stopped the Shadow Hounds, and then he would have died to his own fatigue damage, I think. But he was able to just exhaust too many of my things. I shouldn't have swung. Basically, I should, once I knew that he was gonna mill out, I should have just sat there, because then he couldn't figures in the fog and do a bunch of other stuff. So I played it poorly. Brankus, he's a very good player, and we're constantly trying to, like, we're just on the edge each game that we play. I've had the upper hand in a couple of matches against him, and this time he got the upper hand. So last 2 decks, we've got Fritzy and Brian. I think I actually saw part of this match. Maybe
I
not.
saw most of it before I bounced to go play with you.
Right. Okay. Sorry. No, I didn't see this then.
And Brian's board was just, ugh.
All right. Well, we're gonna look at Fritz's first. So Fritz played Saria, playing the Raven and 3 Cobras. That takes up 150 points right there. Shroud, very nice. Love to see it. Magic Siphon and 3 Abundance. Then we've got 3 Hollows, 2 Seers, 2 Imperial Ninjas, 3 Rose Gardeners, 1 Figures, 2 From Darkness, 2 Willpowers, 2 Farewells, 2 Dealer's Choice, 2 Return to Soil. I gotta say, I think Battleseer is the knight of the formula. It is so insanely cheap compared to all other knights. It's alert and quick strike, and when removal is difficult, all those abilities, as well as being in colors that like just have a lot of nice synergy and people want to play right now. It's so good.
There's only one knight cheaper than it, and someone ran it.
Which knight?
It's in Brian's list. Well, we'll talk about it when we get there.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a very nice, clean list. It's got spin down to sort of help with the mill plan. It's got Shroud to protect the Raven, which is awesome. The Willpowers, Farewells, Dealer's Choice, Return to Soil. Like, it's got so much removal. From Darkness, one of my favorite cards, and works really well with both Raven and the Battleseers. This is just, I mean, I could see something almost the exact same as this being played in like a full constructed thing. Like, it's very, very cool. All right, let's look at Brian's list. Brian is playing Symboli. Hey, at least I tried to use my brains to pick the right Phoenix Born for the meta.
I versed this deck in normal, and it can be a nightmare.
Well, it's cool because it's got new stuff. 2 Cinder Spirits, 1 Winged Lioness. That's the board. That is right off the bat, that's an unusual board, I think. To see, period, I think. Like, to see those 2 combined on a board is odd, but then to see them in Symboli is even more odd. But so I love it. So 2 Frostfangs, 2 Celestials, really going in on the armored here, which I think is a smart move. 3 Spearmaster, 3 Goran Rock. So is that the night?
That was the night I was saying that's cheaper than Battleseer.
For 3, not just a little bit cheaper, but only 3 points. 2 Dark Reflections, 2 Shepherds, Accelerate, Enlightenment, Nature's Wrath, Purify, Angelic, Hunting Weapons, 3 Root Armors. Oh my goodness. 2 Crystal Armors and 2 Ocean's Gift.
So before I bounced out of the game, his board was a Cinder with a token, Linus, and two Dark Reflections, both of them with root armors on them, and one of them had a crystal armor.
Spicy. Very spicy. Very. So, my I still have such a problem with Dark Reflection because it's pay two to ping two effectively, which is not great. And then, yeah, you get a body, but it's an exhausted body. And so, either, like, on average, you're playing another two dice to do something with it. Now, of course, the ideal situation is you play it, like, at the end of a round so that you ping two things away and then you still have a three body that can do stuff with. But I just haven't found it having a huge impact. I think it needs, I don't know, it definitely needs other things to spice it up. Like, it needs call to action, it needs from darkness, those things that for just one more die, effectively making it a night cost, it can do a lot more removal. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Still, this list is, I think if you sent this list to me, you're like, hey, what do you think? I'd say that looks like a Red King list, or maybe a Matt list. This is very, I don't know. This seems very unusual to see from Brian's side. I think it is super cool. I cannot like, all the one ofs um are very interesting. And then three, like, the amount of armor on this thing is insane. I'm curious what happens if he runs into a list that has a lot of cheap stuff, because really you have what, Nature's Wrath. I guess you have hunting weapons, but
So I will tell you because I played one of my lists into Brian when he was playing this,
mm-hmm.
and he basically ended me with a Spearmaster Brawler swing, Spearmaster clearing my board, and I had like 4 units, and then he was able to refresh the Brawler.
Oh yeah, that's funny. You never see that coming.
No, I did not see it coming.
That's very funny. I love it. So it ended up being that Brian won against Fritz. So I'm so, like we just said, I'm very curious in this case because he only has the one wrath, but it's gonna be Brian versus Brankus.
That's definitely going to be an interesting game because it's basically focus, especially with the keepsakes, because the keepsakes can, unless you double armor, say like a celestial or something, of it can just take out pretty much anything.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but he's got, like, and he can't focus the Shadowhounds otherwise. The only thing he can do is just put a lot of big bodies that he then hopes to swing. But then, like I said, Brankus has the Rosefire Dancers, and he's got the other tricks. So
Yeah,
it'll be very interesting.
Definitely one game I wouldn't mind watching.
All right, and let me just look at, so that's Brian versus Brankus, Alfred versus Mitch. That'll be, I mean, all these matches are going to be cool, but I'm looking forward to that one. I should now that we're going through round 2 things, you actually successfully took down Maddie B. Very good.
Yes, and this time it was for the chance. It was reverse. Uh, Erosion was key here
Oh, okay. Against
because
what?
uh so so basically Matt did not start a knight. He started um augury, diver, green thrasher, gates, and armor. And augury he grabbed the resonance, and yeah, he got 2 divers and an extra draw because he was able to swing with it. But the erosions, I was able just to keep his board pretty much clear because I basically went double erosion starts.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because I was a little bit worried of his night package because besides Fester is not the super easiest for me to deal with knights.
Yeah.
So double erosion just to bring down knights, and just because of the covers I knew that he was in, it's like, okay, he has no way to get those knights back. Once they're gone, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like, okay, if he doesn't start a knight, I can kind of keep his board clear, and I ended it in around 2.
Okay. Good stuff. That's really good stuff. um wow, end of round 2. That's very fast. Impressive.
Well, cataclysm can be a thing because we both did. I think he did like 3 points of damage to me in round 1. I did like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Actually, I think it might have been a little bit more than 5 in the first round, but still, it was a decent amount. And then round 2, I just went swing. I resumed a fallen, swung with that, and then I eventually found a cataclysm off of wing and just went cataclysm, swing, and I forgot to add in the extra point of damage that I did with Fire Archer because I summoned like 3 Fire Archers that round and they all got to swing to face.
That's a lot of extra damage.
Yeah.
Um
So
I am remiss. I have failed our rookie one of our new greats of the community, Rich Solo. He had the bye in the first round, which is why I wasn't paying attention. Let's go through his list quickly, and then I think we're just past an hour 15 ish. Nope, hour and 10. We'll call it a night for that. So we've got Rich on a Mayoni list. He also went with some snake bites and some orchid doves and ruby cobras, but he was also playing a 3-eyed owl. And of course, what I love to see, 3 iron rhino in Mayoni. Very cool. We got 2 amplifies, 2 change psyches, 2 wraths, 2 refresh, 2 return to soil, 2 riles, 3 venom strike, 2 remorse, 2 sympathy pains. So this is like almost like a hybrid of Red King and like Underrug
any of the
or
mill.
Calcos, yeah, where it's got the strong mill plan, but then in this case it's backed up by a beefy rhino.
Yep. And if I can remember the messages correctly, I think unfortunately he has to verse Carl now.
He does. He according to Challenge, he lost to Carl. So
Okay.
unfortunate. Dread Wraith is on a tear, which means congratulations, Shadow. You face Carl in round 3.
In the semis. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
And then yeah, I will. I don't know if either of the other two matches, or even yours, can be scheduled on one of my open days, one of my evenings, then I will stream it because this is a fun format and I like to stream games. Ideally, I have a co-host or somebody to co-hype. But yeah, let me know. Generally, evenings EST after 9 o'clock are good for me. Other than tonight when I have pickleball, but other than that, I am available. Um, so this is Ashes 500. It's really cool. Like, just looking at these lists makes me want to take them, try them, tweak them. Like with Rich's list, I think, oh man, if you running if you're running 3 snake bites, 3 iron rhinos, and 3 doves, you kind of I just would have probably gone with Shimmerwing instead of 3-eyed owl, and maybe even instead of Cobra, just to get the draw, so that you can draw into all of your other tools and then still have another removal and like big unit effectively that you can bring out for some burn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just look at these and I'm like, oh man, it really could have gone either way for anybody. So I think this is my new favorite format. I think limited deck building is my new favorite thing. And I invite anyone who's watching who's not already playing to join us for season 3 in the new year. Shadow, what do you have to say to the people?
I do agree. This has been really fun. It stresses the deck building is in a different way than you would normal constructed, just because of how Ashes is so wide open, where you can build almost anything you really want. Where here you really have to think of the different synergies and the different cards that might be able to help you with your strategies, as long as you don't go over that limit.
Yeah, no, totally. Sorry, I just because I only have one monitor right now and it's been hard to see everything. I didn't realize that people were in chat. I'm so sorry. Brian, how's it going? He said, hey, Shadow, hey, Treatment. Invigorate seems very good with Wishing Wing and Snapper, especially Spearmaster. And Fred, sorry, if I had known my volume was low, I would have turned it up. But it's the end of the show, so you'll just have to turn up your own speakers.
I mean, honestly, it's not like Fred, where his volume almost never works on his.
Oh, let's start throwing shade at the only other person who does streaming. Yeah, eat that, Fred. Your audio sucks.
He's gotten better. Like the last 2, it was actually good, but
Ash's streaming wars. Don't knock one of my only 3 or 4 viewers. All right. This
he'll just knock me back. I know him.
This was fun. I really appreciate you coming on. It's definitely late. It's past midnight. It's almost 1 o'clock for me. So
hey, dude, remember, I'm in the time zone.
No, I know. I just know that some of our central folks are like, whatever, it's just midnight. And some of our Australian folks are like, yeah, it's also like, well,
it's like it's like 3 in the afternoon.
16 hours ahead. So
14, yeah, I think it's 14. It's either 14 or 16. I forget the exact time.
I think it depends on the coast or location.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway. I don't think the audio is going to work for signing off. So I'm just going to say thank you, everyone. If you're not janky, you're stanky. Frog up, wolf down, and we'll catch you on the next one. Shadow, you can sign off too.
Later.
Thanks.